The screensaver squash. There we go.
Here we go.
We all have those little and big steps in our lives. What if they weren't right or wrong? What if they were just choices on the way to consciousness? Welcome to the Missteps of Consciousness TV show with Hayden and Julie.
Hi, Hayden.
Hello. How you doing? Can I stop I'll stop sharing this. That works. Hi there.
Hello, everyone. Woo!
That was in person.
Hi, Australia. It's Friday night. It's 7 o'clock, and it's the second episode of Missteps of Consciousness TV show with Hayden Glover and myself, Julie Andrew, and we have got a special guest from America, and she's amazing. It's Erin Everbrite. And Hayden, do not make a joke. Like what you were saying on the phone, he was going to make a joke, but no jokes.
It won't be the first joke. Go for it, Hayden.
I forgot the joke now.
You remember it. You can make the joke.
Oh gosh. She's ever bright. Haha.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I was gonna get something with like your rapper name would be EE or Easy E or something like that. But yeah.
So hello everyone. So tonight's episode is all about like what we were talking about, the quickie episodes we did through the week about kindness to ourselves, kindness to other people, and when we're not doing kindness to ourselves and to other people. And when we're actually talking about like when we do anti-consciousness and unconsciousness to ourselves, and we're just so unaware when we're being unkind to ourselves and to our bodies. So tonight's episode, like I said, kindness, but we are going to talk about this amazing book, The 10 Keys of Freedom. And you haven't read it, but it is in the foundation. It is in the foundation of Access Consciousness, and Gary and Dane, the co-creator and the founder of Access Consciousness, wrote it. And there's a telecool series on it too. It's amazing. It's changed by me using these tools. It's just turned my life around. I enjoy living. I enjoy creating now. And now I want to hang out on the planet. Before I didn't. So, Hayden, I know we've been through this a couple of times when we've done foundation together, and we've talked about the different keys. And the other day we were just talking about, and one of the keys is interesting point of view.
Yes.
And we will go through it. But Erin, hi.
Hi. I'm from Alaska.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it cold there?
Australia. Here we go.
Is it cold over there? Or
2 days ago, we started to feel a little bit like winter was around the corner. Yeah, it's starting to cool off. The leaves are starting to turn a little yellow. It's so early, so
That'd be so cool.
yeah. Big love to Australia. Yeah.
have you been to Australia before?
No. And I want to come for a while, not just 2 weeks. So I'm saving up.
Yeah. Come for 6 months in summer.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's winter over here, and it's still like 5 over there.
I'm making lots of Australian friends all of a sudden, so I think it might be sooner than later.
Maybe it's a pull to come to Australia.
Cool. Absolutely. So thank you for having me on the missteps of consciousness, because I've made several. I've been in ditches, so I love the name. Yeah, ditches of consciousness is really where I spent a lot of time, and so like you both, I haven't wanted to be on this beautiful, beautiful planet, and yet I always believed something beautiful and something else was possible, and access and the 10 keys are a huge gift, and yet I'm still on that road to self-kindness. Why is it the hardest? Like, why is it so hard and so
ingrained? You've never known anything else.
But guys, we have been doing it for 2 million years.
Yeah.
Like, we've been just piling poo of shit, like consciousness and anti-consciousness on top of us, even just being aware of it. And it's like now we're just starting to know there is, like, you know, like you said, you've always known there's been a different possibility. And that's like with me, I've tried every modality. And then when I found access, I just sighed. I just went, wow. Like, it's taken me to get where I am now, and it's been 3 years. But it was like, it made sense. I know I hear like Gary and Dane talk about it. You know, a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. But the tools and access consciousness itself makes sense to me. Yeah. So, and I just was like, I was quite relieved with it. So, can you tell us a little bit? And, you know, Hayden's used to me taking charge, being the conqueror.
She does this.
Wow, I get the talking stick. Thank you.
Tell us about your journey. Because I know I found you on Facebook. And I found you doing this amazing video about the picture behind you. And I just loved it because it really inspired me to even do more.
There we go.
Ooh, can we see that a bit better?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
That's cool.
We can promote. We'll be promoters of your painting too.
It's for sale. There's the.
Buy it for $6,000. No less.
The original's mine. That was, so I'm an international being. I love this world. I've traveled a lot, and I, like you, was chasing the world, really proving how wrong I was. Every tool just seemed to instigate more and more of something to fix and somewhere to get something else to be that wasn't me. And I was born in Alaska, and Alaska's always been really great to me. And yet I was an only child, and my parents were really lost. So they weren't really there. So I was a searcher and a gypsy, and just thought that was who I was. And I was always definitely trying to fix something. And I tended to recreate a lot of those stories with relationships with friends that were really manipulative. And it's the real I think we can cuss on this show. It's the real piss off when we and
we're Aussies, so you can swear. Come on.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest piss offs is when you really have to look at that you choose these things, that you chose them, and that you were aware. And it has nothing to do with one of my favorite commandments is do not listen to, tell, or buy the story, because I loved stories. I loved stories. I said I was a storyteller, and so really allowing and being present in awareness. If we step out of it, for me, it's one of the biggest piss offs. And just as you said, this morning, I actually woke up and I had thoughts, and I was like, what if I am actually that aware and it's not judgment? And it was one of the kindest thoughts I'd actually ever had so far, because I tend to look at the thoughts, whether it's at 5% precipitation or 80, or I'm already like lost in 120, as the bullets of judgment coming at me in the morning. And waking up has never really been fun. And I bought into, gosh, there's still so much wrong because I'm not waking up happy. And really this morning, I was like, what if I'm actually just that aware? And it was one of the kindest thoughts so far. Like, okay. And then the tools, because then it was like, oh, now I have choice. I have choice with these thoughts, and not like making it wrong and pushing it away immediately. And like, because another thing I chose this summer was return to sender for 6 months. And we've actually been running bars up here like crazy since April. A friend and I have been doing 5 to 20 hours of bars a week. Yeah, I would highly recommend that. I would highly. Yeah, you guys can run bars while you do your show. So those tools really did create space, because I was on the track to CF and certified facilitator in access consciousness, and it was kind of like I had all these tools, and I was headed towards the big classes going, yeah, I've got all these tools, but you guys are really cool. I'm sure something cool will happen here. Like, here I am with all my tools. And I was like, no, these tools are amazing and they're simple. What if I actually just spent some time with them? And so I chose Return to Sender, and I chose just getting my bars run a gazillion hours. And now I'm choosing with joy. And after, if you're a certification whore like me, or, you know, it's like, the joy is a good reason for it. Well, the joy is one of the best reasons I've ever chosen anything, because before it was about something else.
And that's really cool. Like, you know, choosing for the joy of it. I found, like, when it was being really brutally honest with myself, and I really looked at actually what you were saying at the start, that you've actually chosen it, and you were actually aware of what you've created in your whole life. And I've really looked back, and I've chosen, not making myself wrong, but some of the things I've chosen have been really unkind to me, but definitely unkind to other people. And even looking at my family, I can really see where they've been unkind to me, but where I was, even as a child, was very unkind to them. And even as a child, I had a part in creating that. And for like taking and acknowledging that blew me away. And then using the tools, knowing that there's nothing wrong, there's no lining or agreeing or resisting or reacting. It's just being an allowance. I heard a really good way of about, because I do lots of yoga. I'm a yoga teacher, and I love it. I do like
yoga.
And I'm just like, in there, into classes. And the thing is, they talk about we need to accept ourselves. We need to do that. And I heard Gary, and it is on the 10 Keys, he's talking about acceptance. It's when you believe, and not probably in the same words I'm saying, that you cannot change it. Allowance is just allowing what's coming up, and then you have choice. You can choose whatever you would like to choose, what works for you. So it's like, for me, you know, being an allowance of me and being an allowance of what other people are choosing has really created so much more space for me to go, okay, let's do this TV show, let's do this, let's start traveling the world, let's do, you know, and look at consciousness in a way that hasn't been on the planet, and look at the planet in such a kindness, and my body, because I don't know about you two guys, but I really have not been kind to my body, and I've been into lots of different things, and you know, now I've been using this question is, what's right about me and about my body that I'm not getting? And that's been a really cool one, because I've always been fit. I've always, and it's interesting when you were talking about creating friendships and relationships. I've done the same, and it's the same friendships and all like that. And now with the tools, the relationships I'm having is just phenomenal. Like, they've changed because I'm choosing something different. And I'm choosing something different even with relationships too. And it's just like, wow, it's, you know.
Yeah, I want more of that. I want more of that. And just, you know, because making the videos recently, you know, it's been my first experience with people being mad at me and people having all kinds of interesting points of views. And yet the willingness to go, cool, interesting point of view. And who else wants to play? And hi, you know, from Australia. And it's yeah, so it's great to be in that space, because one of the things I'm like, really, what else is possible? What else can we create here? I love in your first episode that you know, you want to go international. Where could you be playing with consciousness and the energies? So, I mean, could you come to Alaska? You know, like, what would it take?
Yeah.
What I notice on Facebook is it's like we all tend to create similar ways, and then it's copied and and it's like, really, what are the infinite possibilities with creation? And
So Heyman,
hello. Okay, Seriously?
So,
No, not seriously.
Can I just ask, what's your favorite tool out of the 10 Commandments? Well, hang on. If anyone's seeing this and going, what? They just said 10 keys of freedom, and now we're saying 10 commandments. It was a joke, first off, that Gary actually called them the 10 commandments. And a few people got a little bit upset, so he changed them to 10 keys of freedom. And it is, you know, for me, I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was saying, it's like these keys of freedoms are available for us already. We're not aware, we're not using them. But it's not just about not using it. They are available to us already. It's like going through the keys awakens up the power and the potency and the capability what these tools are about. Because we are them already. It's just we're layers over. So we are. So we're not saying you're not these 10 keys of freedom. You are them already. It's just like another friend of mine was saying, Julie, just remember who you are. Start waking up.
Yeah.
That just blew me away. So I'm really grateful for Glenn for that. Just keep moving forward. Keep not choosing to be locked down in this reality, and keep remembering who you are. And that just blew my reality. So, Hayden, what's your favourite tool? And then we'll ask Erin, what's her favourite tool?
Okay, I was just looking over them literally a second ago. Probably no exclusion.
Okay. Oh, how
Yeah.
that? So what does exclusion mean to you?
Yeah.
Exclusion, shutting stuff off, everything. Like, that was my main thing when I first came into consciousness. Like, because I was very, what's right, what's wrong. I was very much a lawful, good sort of person, and that just shut out so much of my life, so much fun, and all the rightness and wrongness. I'm not sure where I'm going with this. And just willing to be an allowance of that, all this stuff, it was just so foreign. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just amazing to allow it all. Yeah.
I love that you chose it because it's the one when I scan them, I'm like, that one. So when you said turning so many things off, it's like, wow. Because we think that, 2%, or then we're at functioning at 25%. We're like, wow, I'm really aware and functioning. And it's just like, no, like there are so many more buttons to turn on, so yeah.
Who says 100% has to be the top anyway? What if we can go past that? What more?
Yeah, go beyond that. What if 100% isn't 100%?
Exactly.
Can choose exactly.
No completion. Yeah. Only creation.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
I say something sometimes.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
what if it is creation? And what if, we are here? Like, I had a bath this afternoon because so much has changed in my life. Like, I've started committing to my life, and now I'm committing to, I've got a new big role in a job, and I've taken on a couple other new jobs. I'm moving in a house, and I had a bath this afternoon. I was in the bath, and I was looking around in the bathroom, and I went, what if I just chose to hang out with the bathroom? And my whole reality just grew. And I went, what if I could just hang out with my car and hang out? What if I don't exclude anything in my life? The good, the bad, the ugly. We hear this all the time in Access. But even in the world, I just thought, it wasn't a thought, it was awareness that I was having. That if I didn't exclude any molecule, anything like, hanging out with you guys, I'm hanging out with the couch tonight. That really, it's the joy. And you were talking about joy. I just had all this joy come up hanging out with the bathroom this afternoon. And I had this big smile. And I just went, wow. And then money just turned up in my bank account just like that. So it's like, wow, the universe has got your back.
Yeah.
It is like magic. And I know a lot of people would say, oh, that's a load of crap. She's insane, But
We are.
yeah, we are.
We are.
That's a long time ago.
I'm a freak. I will invite anyone who wants to be a freak and really do all the secrets. But it was so, like, it gave me joy in hanging out with the bathroom. And everything came so much alive. Even I had the laptop, I was watching a movie in the bath. And, it was just amazing. I'm just like,
I love baths, so I'm like, tell me more. Tell me about your bath, because I have a bath right after
Welcome
that.
to the bath show.
so it was just about being,
Yeah.
sorry, what were you saying? Sorry, I'm cutting you off. I was just like being, you want to say it? What were you saying, Hayden?
Oh, welcome to the bath show. Here we only talk about the most expensive baths.
Hayden, do you like baths?
Not really. I'm more of a shower guy, to tell you the truth. Yeah.
That just gave me a really phenomenal. We could do a bath show. Get a few. There's been video shows, like the videos with Alan Jones and all that. I'm sure Alan's going to be on the show, so I can see us doing a bath show. You won't see us.
I've made videos in the bath before, so I love it. What's funny is I have spoken with you both very little, and I've had the 10 keys on for 2 weeks, 24/7, and you're hitting the same things I've been aware of and the same energies. Because recently it's like the potency of our magic, the potency of being willing, because you said potency earlier, that they kind of just unlock it and they unlock it. And that's one thing I've really, like, what if I was willing to be the magic I truly be? And we hear these words and we read these titles and they're everywhere. We've got it all over the computer, constant reminders. But that is an insane invitation. That's an insanely exciting invitation, because it really isn't 100%. It's like, wow, there's so much potency and fuel. And so similar to your experience in the bath, it really is that molecular, like, okay, because if we're magicians, like, we can create and facilitate, what we're creating right now is so generative, and we don't even know. Right. And then
we really don't know. It's like we are at the starting of it. Like, I've always known that I've been quite powerful, and I've known even before I, used the access tools, that I was always pragmatic. When I was younger, if something didn't work for me, I was off. I was gone, And I mean, I was labelled as ADD, autistic, OCD, and all like that. I love the story, like when you were talking about listening and buying the story, like that key. Yeah, I own my story. And my family gave me the story. I had that as my badge of honour, I had all that. But all that has been my power and potency. And it's not just access consciousness, because it's not just about the tools. It was about me choosing to step up and knowing what I knew and going, there is a different possibility. And then choosing it and choice, I think that's the third step. It's really talking about the key, the third key, about 10-second increments of really choosing infinite choice. That's the call that I'm on today. And I was listening to it and reading it and reading the clearings. So again, if you hear us talk about the clearings, that's the access consciousness clearing. So we're just going to say it, and right and wrong, good and bad, top and pod, all nine short, boys and beyond. And it's like the Harry Potter thing. You go to consciousness, accessconsciousness.com, clearing statement, to watch a video that Dane talks about it, and it's just amazing. And by just choosing every 10 seconds, and I've been playing with this for nearly 3 months now, constant, I really notice the more you choose, I get awareness when I'm not actually choosing the 10 seconds, that I'm actually going, woo, off in some other direction. And that pulls me back to go, oh, question, you know, if I choose this, what will this create? And if I don't choose this, what will this create? And the more that I actually ask that question, I actually notice I start choosing more. And then I start coming into more and more and more. So that's been fun.
That's great. I feel like I've been on the other end of that, where I'm noticing more and more the automatic, like more and more. I'm like, I am like, where am I? You know, it's just like, you know, in some kind of weird shopping mall of whatever this all is. And so that's great. I love that, that invitation.
That's cool. And Hayden, how do you play with the
I asked him, so I'll ask a question, right? And then basically, you know how Gary starts with his sniff a flower? I used to just play video games and stuff all day for the most part. So now I'll be like, oh, what do I want to do today? Okay, I'll go for breakfast, and I'll choose and go for breakfast. And do something ridiculous, so I won't be doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
More fun that way, isn't it?
That's cool.
It's way more fun. Yeah. That's, I mean, it's really the small choices that start to add up and change everything and unlock it and to the molecular possibility of everything. And people go, you know, because everybody's looking for the big choice to unlock it all, the big answer that will bring, you know, down the house and open up the sky. And it's just like, that's not going to happen.
It's rather fun to have something like so small.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say it's really cool with the small choices, because the small choices do open the big choices. That's what I've really noticed. Like all these little choices that I've been choosing now, like what I've been asking for the last 3 years. Like, you know, if you asked me like a year ago of what I was asking nearly 3 years ago, I just couldn't see the possibilities showing up for what I was choosing. And like Dr. Dane always say, choice creates awareness. And you know, and another key is interesting point of view that I have that point of view. Your point of view does create your reality. And when I really noticed that, and I really was willing to just go, okay, have no point of view and be an allowance of what I'm choosing, and then change my point of view. I'm then like, oh wow, you know, my dream house showed up, you know, my housemate has shown up, you know, the person that I've really wanted to build an empire with is showing up. You know, there's all these different things, you know, and then Hayden goes, yes, let's do the show, let's do this, let's do the radio show.
Is that the one building an empire with you?
I guess so.
I know. Sorry.
A couple of people are building empires.
All right.
And then Hayden, I reckon, you know, what if, hey Hayden, what if this is empire?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. And what can we create? And we both say it. What can we create from this? And getting like, you know, people just, I didn't like, for me, my target wasn't just to interview people. It was like, you know, having conversations like this, conversations of consciousness, and really, you know, hearing and just talking to people about their journey with the tools. And it doesn't just has to be access consciousness, but it's about just, you know, the planet and consciousness. So can I ask you, like, what is consciousness to you? Like, I'm going to put you in there. What is consciousness and the planet to you? With the 10 keys of freedom. I'm going to throw that one.
Are you asking Hayden first? For me.
Would you like to go first? Or would you like me to go first?
Yeah, and I can, yep, and I'm ready when you're ready.
Okay. The change that's required, basically. Like, this world needs to change. Yeah, for everything, literally.
Yeah.
Like, everything needs to improve.
Well, our judgment, you know, I've heard this so many times, our judgment is killing the planet.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about wars and stuff like that, but our judgment, our self-abuse and abusing others is killing the planet and killing ourselves too. So, That's just an interesting point of view I got.
And I think consciousness for me is creativity. I think it's because in buying the lie that we only have so much of that, or we only have so many gifts in the world, you know, we tend to choose the one job, or maybe you have a few hobbies, oh lucky you, or maybe you've had a few hobbies over your lifetime. And this is really an invitation to, you know, the X-Men part. Like, I love X-Men. I love the idea that we can be superheroes, and that we are acknowledging our capacities, and that our capacities are right here. And I love the energetic work of access, and that you can commune with that flower when you smell it. And it again, you know, it starts to sound like we're hanging out in an insane asylum, yet where we're coming from is just the insanity that I have, and the layers of insanity I continue to see that I am functioning from. Like, it's again, some of the hot words that you've mentioned just in the few weeks I've been listening to the 10 keys. Gary's talked to me about kindness, which has been strange, because I, coming from a lot of the relationships that I had created and the stories, I tended to have to be rough and tough about, and I was proven wrong so many times. So Gary's like, are you kind? And I'm like, no, definitely not kind. And he was like, you know, the whole room knows you're kind. Like, what's wrong with you? And then in several conversations later, you know, he also said, kindness has to include you first. Kindness has to include you in the, you know, in everything kindness is. And this was tripping me up actually the last 7 months. And it was just through listening to the 10 keys these last 2 weeks where an energy started to unlock. And I realized I was doing the same thing with kindness as I was doing with awareness, which is, I had to be the perfect version of kindness. Not so much the superior asshole where I was trying to be everybody's version of kindness, but more so like the more I learned about kindness, I'll eventually achieve the master level of kindness, where all kindness exists. And I can be that. Same with awareness, that once I've seen every gazillion way to look at awareness, then I'll achieve something. And that, when you talk about kind of, I feel like I'm going backwards to where you began with the self-awareness of that is not allowing it here and present. And that has been a huge gift, because it's my version of kindness, my version of awareness, your version of kindness, your version of kindness. And what can we create with that? And it's really, again, these keys have been unlocking that potency effortlessly, which is a huge gift, because I was really hung up on that recently, and the energies that come from what we can open up, it's limitless.
I like what you say, you know, it's, you know, my awareness and your awareness, and there's no separation in your awareness and my awareness. It's that oneness energy that Dane talks about, and that I've always known, even before, a lot before Access Consciousness, I actually knew there was a oneness, and I knew a lot of possibilities. I didn't know, not just the how. There was always, like, for me, there was this energetic barrier that I had created, and now I acknowledge it, that just nothing could get through. So with the access tools and the 10 keys of freedom, it really has, like, shattered them and just down, and it's just been amazing. I was going to say, I don't know if this is a point of view or just an interesting point of view, but when we were all saying we're crazy, I had a partner once, because I've always been able to see, I've been a medium even before Access, and I've always been able to communicate with people on the other side. I see fairies and all like that. And I remember once he said, you know, Julie, I could get you committed. And I was like, and at that stage, and I'm using this as a tool, I made him wrong. I wasn't in allowance of him, and I wasn't into, like, an interesting point of view. Again, I thought, wow, this man's supposed to have my back. that I had a part in creating that he didn't have my back. Because I didn't, at that stage, I hadn't committing to my life, and I didn't have my own back. So when he said that, I went, oh, wow. And I nearly gave up my talents and ability with the fairies and with the, being able to see entities and all like that. But, when you see entities, they won't go away. I'll tell you that. Even if you try, they will still hang around. Hey, they've got no body. So they know if you know, they will hang around. But it was again, that tool of just an interesting point of view, and then using it as a weapon or not using it as a weapon, but being an allowance of where he was functioning at the time, and really being an allowance of me of not having kindness. And I really get having no kindness of having my own back. That's like, for me to have my own back, that is true kindness to me. Not having my own back, and not having the people that I truly care, having their back, that's, not having that kindness, not having their back is unkind. And then when I realised that, and there's some energy coming up, so we must be shifting something or changing something.
Can we clear some of this?
Yeah, so everything where we're not choosing in every 10 seconds increments of having our own back, will you destroy it and uncreate it all?
Yeah.
Yes. Pop and pot, all 9 short boys in the eye. What energy, space and consciousness can we and our bodies be to have our own back and committing to our life for all eternity? And everything that doesn't allow that to show up with times of God selling it. We destroyed and uncreated it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pop and pod, all 9 short boys and young. And this has been something for me, really having my own back. Because with that relationship, I'm really grateful for that, for me. Because, I really, like some of the things, now I wouldn't choose that now. Having my own back, there's things now I wouldn't choose in a relationship, and I wouldn't choose a certain person, not because they're wrong or right or they're bad or good. It's that I know that I'm choosing different and I have my back. And, when someone is, saying, you're crazy, I'm going to put you, that's not kind to you too. So, it was really with the keys. And it was the willingness to look at it, be brutally, I love this when I heard Gary talk about this, and Dane, be brutally honest with yourself. And sometimes being brutally honest with you isn't about the right or wrong. It's actually really being brutally honest with you about your power, your potency, your capability, and who you truly are. Because it's so easy to be in this reality. And, this reality is what this reality is about. There is different choices beyond this reality. That's what I love about Access Consciousness talks, because you can still know that this reality is on planet Earth, but we can create different realities with the 10 keys of freedom. And that's what's really, blown me away, Yeah, jump in, guys.
How do you follow something like that?
Okay, we cried, everyone. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't keep saying I cry.
I'm gonna have a drink.
Go ahead, Hayden. Oh.
Okay, I'm doing better now.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you wanted to bring a bottle of wine or something, we're drinking champagne and wine.
Nice. I love, there's something you keep touching on, and it's the part where it's the allowance, because I guess it's so easy, you see the videos and it's like, stop choosing assholes, stop, knock it off, and then, and there's a period of slowdown of awareness when you choose that energy, and and that's what I love about the more I play with the tools of access. It's like, oh, because I'm aligning and agreeing with something really quickly instead of really going with that awareness, which isn't a kindness. And it's like, okay, cool. And that is, it's magical, because that's when you, like me, I've chosen a lot of insane stuff. It's one of the places. That's why. So I loved that. Because there's real honoring everything this all is, and honoring my choices, and honoring my back. I mean, it's just this morning I woke up hugging myself going, this is what it feels like to have my own back. I mean, literally I was like I was hugging myself in bed. It's not as comfortable when you're sitting. You're laying down, it's super cozy. And I fell asleep. And it was in hearing those thoughts come in, I was like, what if I just didn't judge this right now? What am I actually aware of? And it was one of I think the first times in this life, many lifetimes, where I didn't instantly judge myself for judging and everything that is. It was just like, what am I actually aware of here? And there was such kindness in that. So there's something magical about those, like, more awareness. It's just more awareness.
I really like that question you just said. Instead of, like, this morning I could hardly speak, and Delaney, who I'm still sharing with, Delaney, and she said to me, well, what if there's nothing wrong? What if it's all the changes? So when you were saying, what am I aware of? Because this afternoon I was hearing thoughts, I was hearing voices, and I did go a little bit into the wrongness, where that question is, well, what am I aware of right now? It's so simple, so pragmatic. It's just amazing. I want to say something to Hayden. Like when you were talking about choosing assholes, I mean, I've chosen a lot of assholes, and I think nice guys have chosen the bitch and the asshole too. The one thing that with Hayden and I have a very different relationship, and so for me, like, I've chosen Hayden because our relationship, we do have a relationship. We've had a relationship for over 5 years, and it is very different. And for probably for a year, I didn't talk to the whole family, because I had an interesting point of view that would be the best way to, let go. It was just, a lot of judgments and a lot of conclusions that I had about it. But the one thing that I've always noticed with Hayden, has been willing to just always go, hey, Julie, I'm still here. And I'm still here. And I'm still here. And I've watched him grow and choose things for him, and really starting to watch him have his own back, and watch his mum and his dad. And it's just been amazing. And so I just want to acknowledge Hayden, you just really, you do rock my world, because, like, he does have my back too. So, so we're talking about having each other's back and having our own. So, yeah.
It's amazing, like, how much kindness and potency you have to commit to your life and to have your own back, and being like, no, I'm not going to step down. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going no matter what. And I'm not going to stop. It's amazing.
And it's been really cool. Okay, so we've talked about our favourite tools. We've talked about laughs. We've talked about hanging out with us. We talked about hugging ourselves. And it was funny when you were saying about hugging yourself in the bath, I started kissing my knee. And I remember, I just went, wow, yes. And it was like, it's amazing. Like, I looked at my body, and I've had different men, you know, look at my body and go, oh wow, in that, you know, in that moment, and then they're off, you know, they're gone. They're gone. But I looked at my body in a way that I hadn't been willing, and just holding it to say, hey, I'm here too. It was just really, and all the molecules of the bath, and the, you know, as I was choosing to hang out with the bath, it was just like, it was just amazing. It was just like life, with just the energy of it. And I noticed my body started coming alive too. So, and the other thing that I want to just touch base, something you said, there's the same. I don't know if it's the same for you, Hayden. Mornings aren't my favourite times. I used to be very happy, but not. That was actually an illusion, and that was actually a big porky that I was saying too. So,
is that an interesting
relationship? Sorry?
Is that an interesting point of view as well, though?
It was an interesting point of view. But at the same time, I was telling a porky. So it was telling who I was with that I was very happy in the morning. And in the mornings, oh, wow, like I was so aware, and I hadn't taken everything on board that I thought it was mine. So
mornings are really tricky time. I've never heard that from anyone else. And yeah. Wow. So that's interesting that you're just like, yeah, mornings. I'm like, yeah.
Night owls over here.
Yeah. Well, Gary talked about mornings can be, you know, like, you know, he wakes up and then he'll do an energy space consciousness process and then go back to sleep. And so for me, yeah, like it's really intense. So I just use the tools again. I know what an infinite being chooses, expand out. I usually say if there's any entities or demons around me, get out. I just tell them get out.
No kidding.
This is not your time. This is my morning time. So piss off. I'm learning to be more like really strong, like, you know, piss off. Because, you know, waking up really joyful is actually a target energy in my life, and having my own back too. Because it is that energy of, you know, waking up, like you said, hugging yourself and going, wow, good morning. Like, good morning. Like, good morning, planet. Good morning. And just being awake and being alive. So, what about you, Hayden? What's mornings? I know this very well with Hayden.
I like nights. Mornings. Mornings are a testament to how aware we are. Even while we're sleeping, how much we just facilitate and we pick up and all that. Because it all just comes in the morning, and then you just clear it all. Good.
Yeah.
Mornings are interesting, to say the least.
And I like what you said, Hayden. We do facilitate when we're asleep. You know, our bodies sleep, not our being, not we as the being actually sleep. And sometimes we can ask the being. I actually do ask me to actually stay with my body, especially with all the entity stuff. You know, by me going, it can allow entities to come in. So, you know, but a lot of times we do go out and facilitate so much when we're sleeping. As infinite beings, you know, we have powers and capabilities that we're not even aware of. Well, we are aware of, but we haven't acknowledged what we are of this lifetime. And I'm going to say this lifetime because I get this awareness that other lifetimes I had chosen before, but this lifetime I'm really choosing to choose something completely different.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it was beautiful. I was tearing up when you both shared about your having each other's back, because that's something I'm starting to play with. Like, how can you have someone else's back when you don't have your own back? And so I'm just starting to play with that dynamic, and having ended some relationships and all the, what I, you know, quote unquote, what people would consider negative, you know, because I don't even want to use that word. It's not really a word I even use anymore. Yet the interesting, you know, okay, all the interesting stuff that comes up with being more public. And you think, not that you think it, because accolades don't even matter. But it is like, oh wow, you're upset. Like, why are, like, you know, like that video's about you. That I was, you know, that video has nothing to do with you. But whatever all that is, it's really shown me where I more and more don't have my own back, which has been a gift and not the easiest thing to really want to acknowledge. Because again, it's so, you just want to get, it's like there's a piss off. It's like sometimes after, you know, so many of them a day or after a week of it, you're just like, F this. And it's like, really, okay, I like, how much more can I embrace me? Because that wouldn't matter if, you know, it really, so it's best journey ever so far.
And
you know, and how easy can it be? Because I am really done with hard. I'm really done with, you know, I'm like, okay, great. How can I choose this with ease? You know, and what can I require? And that's why Hayden, I mean, one of my favorite things is just what can I choose in this 10 seconds, you know? And if it's going out to eat or a coffee, or it's those little things.
Those kindnesses.
Those
little
kindnesses.
kindnesses.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I might have.
While we're talking about the hardest to the easy, I was doing some practice in a headstand today. And I haven't done a headstand for like over a year and a half. And the teacher came up and I was doing, because I've learned from beginners to really advanced. And so I went straight into advanced headstand. And she said, oh, can I see you after class? And I'm like, yeah, cool. She said, you know, the easiest way, and, you know, in the yoga way is to the least resistance, you know. And so when she showed me, I went, yeah, I used to do this at the start. And it was like, again, putting the tool, like these 10 keys at the start. When I put the basic of the headstand, I went straight up. And I laughed at it because I used the keys with my yoga practice. I use access. When they're, you know, teaching yoga, I'm under my breath going, interesting point of view, that I got this point of view. Return back to center, don't follow the story, don't listen to the story. Well, there's no wrongness. And I'm listening and they're going, breathe through the nose, and they look at me going, breathe through your nose. And as for me, I don't breathe through my nose. I breathe through every pore, every cell. My body actually breathes very different with all the access tools and the body classes and all like that. And so it's interesting when we do the yoga and we're doing deep breathing, I still do it, but I use every tool in access. And I walk out there and I'm clearing demons, I'm clearing entities. I'm so much fun. And it's like my body has really changed. So when that teacher was saying about it, it was really awesome because it was like, you know, you can, and I call it this word, extrapolate. So everything in this whole universe, everything in, even with the 10 keys of freedom, and on the planet, you extrapolate. So for me, I extrapolate everything out of yoga, and I go beyond yoga. My body loves yoga, and there are some beautiful things about yoga, but I keep extrapolating. And so, you know, I heard you saying about creating and creativity. For me, I really have a lot of fun with yoga because I use the tools and I extrapolate things about my body and about me that are just so phenomenal because I'm choosing it. And it's a whole new yoga system. I can see it, you know, and that's why I'm going to yoga all the time, because it's a whole new system. I'm gonna, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting because I do something, well, I choose something and I play with energies differently, but just the way that my body wants to move, because like you, I've tried a lot of different forms of yoga and been strongest ever so far in my life and the weakest again and back to strong and all of it. And really so it's our bodies are genius. And so the way I've been playing with my body and unwinding things and, you know, cause it looks like, you know, but if you stretch your shoulders and you roll, it's like, there's a lot of crunchy stuff in there. So yeah, it feels good, you know, so it's yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. It's so simple and halfway around the world. you know, we're all creating similar energies.
I know, and it's like, you know, probably 2 weeks ago, we didn't really even know each other. We just knew we were on Facebook, and then I saw, you know, I saw your video and just went, oh, wow. And I actually sent you a message when I put you in my entrepreneur group. There's like 500 people, and it said, I actually said, I would love to promote you. Like,
I'm gonna go back and look.
you wrote me back saying, oh, thank you. And then I said, I would love to promote you because you're so easy to promote.
Oh,
It's really cool. So, yeah. So
thank you.
we've got 5 minutes to go for the show. So it's amazing. This whole hour has just gone. Anything you would like to say, Erin, like before we start closing up the show?
There's something about kindness that I think we're still invited into. There's something we each know about kindness that has nothing to do with niceness, because being nice isn't kind. And so whatever ways we can play with what we know about kindness to ourselves, because if we have been functioning from all that judgment and all that energy is on this planet, what can we choose with the small kindnesses? And, you know, it's just, my body's been happy. It's been an easeful conversation. I'm grateful. I mean, I love Australia. I've never been. I've always loved Australia. I'm like, Australian people want to talk to me? So
it's been a pleasure. I would love to do more work with you. I would love to do some more.
We should bring her back on.
Yeah.
Bring her back on. We're bringing her back on.
I did ask her. I did put a little.
Well, I wasn't sure if I had to be a CF, and so we're good. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we should work around. Like,
I want to chat with you.
Yeah, well, I asked her if she'd like to do a telecool series with the 10 Keys of Freedom with me. Because I've been asking for that, and people are saying, yes, I'll do it. And then other people say, oh. And a lot of people were doing, and it's, again, just being an allowance, they're doing other things. But, you know, for me, it is the 10 Keys of Freedom. People having my back, me having my own back has really changed everything. So I really would love to do the 10 Keys of Freedom call. So yeah, that looks like.
That sounds good.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yes. What would you like to say, Hayden? I'm just, oh wow, you know, this show's just been amazing.
Mind blown. Keep it simple.
No.
What else is possible?
Okay, well, everyone, thank you, Erin. Thank you for coming from the other side of the world.
I'm not going to be able to sleep. 2 in the morning, and I'm like, whoa, what can I create today? What creative glorious adventure am I going to have in the tub now?
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, I shared, you put some new photos up about your pictures, and I shared, anytime you do pictures, I share them. I just think, because they're so joyful, especially the colour ones. So maybe we can get an art show and get you to do a national tour around Australia or something like that.
I appreciate that, because that was something that was made really wrong. It's crazy. It's crazy. So just, you know, like you saying that opens up so much in my realities. So.
Yeah. And there's some great, there's some amazing art galleries over there. And there's this lady, I don't know if you know Julie Tooten. She's got a jewelry shop that she actually makes in California. Julie will probably say to me if I'm not saying it correct. But she makes these amazing jewelry. And so I would love to get her jewelry. I would love to get like conscious jewelry art in the world out there. So that's something, that's another target. So if you're, you know, maybe a national tour.
Yeah. I mean, it's global is the fun part for me. So yeah, we can high five on our way, like as a thank you.
And
I
would say we have been playing too small. So for me, like with Delaney, we talk about it all the time. You know, for me, when we're playing small, global is, you know, I look at Gary and Dane and Simone and Rebecca and Joy of Business and Lisa Cooney. They are global, and that's what I'm choosing, and that's what I'm choosing when I work with someone, to go global. We're not going to go small. We're going to choose. Well, I'm choosing. It's up to you.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, what would it take for you to both come to Alaska? I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder. I really wonder. I wonder, Hayden. I've been saying we're going to do like we're going to do a couple of live shows on the street, and Hayden comes down to the Sunshine Coast. We're going to go out and do a live recording and we're going to talk to everyone. We just want to get.
I love that energy.
Yeah, we want to get these tools out. I mean, I've heard Simone talk about this. She wants everyone to know, even if they don't know the access, it's about the access tools. So one of my targets is to really get this out in Australia and in global. So
I'm turned on.
Yeah. All right, so stay on. We're not there. We're just going to put. If you want to share the screensaver.
Oh, yes.
And I'm just going to. We're going to do the out. Yeah. Here we go.
And that's another week done and another great episode. Hope you all enjoyed as much as Hayden and Julie did. See you next episode.
And that's a wrap.
I love that. I love that. So everyone, that's another episode. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, my co-host. You know, Hayden, it's been amazing. Next episode, well, we'll see. I get that it's going to be Delaney next week. So that'll be cool. Anyone can come onto the live show and be like, can watch and all like that. But yeah, so let's Erin will talk.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I'll come on next week.
Awesome. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. All your guests will just add on, and you'll have 50 in 50 weeks. So thank you both of you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Enjoy.
See you, Hayden. Thank you, honey.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We'll talk soon. Bye, guys.
Yeah, have fun sleeping, maybe.